I kind of was like, what is happening? I was crying my eyes out, my whole body was shaking. All this trauma was coming up from years and years ago, from when I was a dancer. When I actually looked at it all, I was like, that's how I've been living my life.
We can't think our way out of an anxiety moment. We have to surrender to that moment. And what I was finding was the breath work was one thing that was helping me calm down in those moments where I was starting to feel stressed.
Breathwork allows the body to just go into softness again, relax, reset, and also connect back to that feminine energy. Like, I think
your middle way is the connection between your own spirituality, the connection to yourself, and also being able to live in this 21st century world.
Everybody's living in fear. 9 times out of 10 people are living in fears because it's so easy to go around your life, fight or flight, wearing a mask, just being the person that everybody wants you to be.
I'm still unsure with this Kundalini awakening. For me, it was that energy that went right up my spine, and I sat there in pure bliss.
I'm Gayu Lewis, a board-certified integrative nutrition, health and menopause coach and the host of the Gayu Lewis Podcast. This is the space where we talk what's happening behind our hormones, from science and mindset to everyday stories that help women thrive through midlife. Joining me today are the co-founders of Immersive, a Dubai-based experiential wellness company reshaping how we experience breath, movement, and meditation. Ashley Edelman is a mindset architect, a breathwork facilitator, and speaker with a unique journey from bodybuilding to monk. Yes, you heard that right. And Melissa McAllister is a breathwork facilitator, speaker, and wellness entrepreneur known for building immersive, community-driven experiences that make transformation accessible and impactful. And today, we are exploring how breath can shift cortisol, how it can support deeper sleep, and why nervous system regulation may be one of the most overlooked tools in hormonal health. So let's dive in. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast today. Before we get into the details of what breath work is and all the interesting stuff, I want to start with this question. What was the moment in your lives, when, you realize breath is more than just oxygen exchange?
Oof. Ladies first.
For me, mine was, I was in a very toxic relationship. So he had mental problems, like deep, dark issues. And I was like, how do I fix this person? And then I was like, there was no other thing to do than like research what can help people. And then I came across breathwork, and if I'm honest, I was very skeptical. I didn't believe in it. I was like, what is breathwork going to do really? But then we both went on this call, and he shut the laptop and left, and I carried on. And that's when I had this moment of like, wow, like this is life changing, because I went through a really deep transformational journey on this call, which I didn't expect. I kind of was like, what is happening? I was crying my eyes out, my whole body was shaking. All this trauma was coming up from years and years ago, from when I was a dancer, that I didn't realize was still affecting me then. And then when I actually looked at it all, I was like, that's how I've been living my life, through this trauma response, through all the triggers. So then that was the moment for me that I thought, how can breath work bring all this up and actually change my whole life, basically? And then from that, I started researching it, I started healing, and then that kind of sent me on a deep emotional healing journey for myself. And then I wanted to learn how to actually facilitate, to give this to people, because when I looked at the bigger picture, I was like, so many people in my life would benefit from this work. So I think for me, that was the moment where I found breathwork, which was very random. I didn't expect it. But then from that moment on, my whole life changed. Like, we broke up, I moved back to Dubai, and then I just went on a journey, really. So I think that was the moment of breathwork.
Okay.
I've got two moments. How real can I be?
As real as you. We want you to be real.
God.
So, the first time I actually ever really discovered breathwork was when I was a performer. So we were in the back of a tour van, and we were heading to a different venue, and we ran out of narcotics. And my friend was like, I know how to get high for free. So we did breath work in the back of the van, and I was like, whoa, what is this? That was the first time I heard of breath work. And then the next time that I kind of started using it was in COVID. So living in the UK, everything got shut down and we had nothing to do. And I was like, I did nothing for the first 6 weeks. So I'm like, something has to change. So I started looking at different things like learning to trade and learning to do different things. And I realized my emotions were everywhere. So because my emotions were everywhere, someone suggested use breath work to calm the nervous system, to be able to calm down, to think clearer. So I was like, okay. So that's where I started doing breath work then. As we got let out of COVID, I implemented it into bodybuilding, because as a professional bodybuilder, learning to breathe on stage, to be able to hold myself in certain ways was a very powerful technique to use. As soon as I left the bodybuilding side of things, I then went through the breakup of my marriage. And as I went through the breakup of my marriage, I had to go through this entire journey by myself of healing, because the community that I was from were the adult industry or bodybuilding. So very surface level sort of things, not really a healing kind of community. So I had to start learning this by myself. So I was playing with attempting to meditate, using breath work, trying to find a routine and all these sorts of things. And what I was finding was the breath work was one thing that was helping me calm down in those moments where I was starting to feel stressed. Because people look at breath work and meditation and all these things and think that, oh my God, that's how I'm going to get a regulated nervous system. It's like, no, these are tools to help you regulate in the moment. And that's what I was doing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was allowing myself to regulate in that moment. Then I'd follow through stress situations. So I had, there were days where what I was doing was I'd get ready for work. I'd stand up, I'd go to walk out the door, I'd fall in my bed, and I'd stay there for 2 days because I was having to just work through this grief and everything that I had been pushing down for so long. And those are the moments that I'd catch myself basically in tears or in a really bad state, and I'd start using the breath to help calm me down. So that was the first real moments of this. Then I really didn't touch it again for a long time. I fell back into performing, and I fell back into old habits. And falling back into those habits and that same routine, there was a morning I did. So breathwork was still a part of my morning routine, but I wasn't using it for anything else. And I did my breathwork one morning, and it was that download of like, you need to become a facilitator. And it was that moment I'm like, oh, okay, who do I speak to? What do I do? How do I do this? So I just started following my intuition, and slowly but surely I ended up here. And it was complete trust and surrender of following intuition to start facilitating.
Very interesting. Two different stories, but somewhere they connect, right? You have a very interesting story. I want to know a little bit more from being a bodybuilder champion to becoming a monk. Yeah. I mean, tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, it was after that journey. So once I started following my intuition of becoming a facilitator, that took me to Western Australia. And in Western Australia, that's where I started getting immersed in this world. I became friends with sound healers, other facilitators. I started learning different modalities within this sort of spirituality space. And the people I was living with, we were meant to be building retreats. So they wanted to open retreats in Thailand. So I was like, well, let's go to Thailand. Let's have a look. We went to Thailand, and when I was in Thailand, I clicked that there was something wrong, that something was off with the people that I was with. They were saying one thing, but doing another. And I had enough one day, and I was like, I'm just going to go home. So I went back to the villa, and I kind of sat there, and I started scrolling through Instagram, and I saw a video of a guy called Kevin. And he was on the plane, and he had a video like this where he had hair. He went like that, and he had no hair, no eyebrows, no nothing. And I was like, what just happened? So I clicked on the video, and I found this monastery called I Monastery in Chiang Mai. And what they do is they create an experience for Westerners to experience monk life in 30 days. Normally, it's either a 3-month process or a year process for you to get ordained, but they've shortened it to a month. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to do something like this. So this is an opportunity. I've got the time, I've got the money. I can escape for a month, and let's see what this is. So that was it. I messaged, and they said, yep, we'd love to have you. So I think that was April 2023, 24. And September that year, I ended up going to live in the rainforest, and it was one of the most life-changing experiences. I had my awakening when I was there, like a clarity came. I'm still unsure with this Kundalini awakening sort of moment I've had, because you hear many stories about what Kundalini is. For me, it was that energy that went right up my spine, and I sat there in pure bliss, and I could feel the universe. I could feel everything. Everything just felt amazing. And that then set me to another few experiences whilst I was out there, but it was life-changing. But the thing for me was like, that's not the life for me. I learned to meditate. I learned the way of life is finding your own middle way. Your middle way is the connection between your own spirituality, the connection to yourself, and also being able to live in this 21st century world. It's finding that balance. And when you find that balance, that's when you start living in that harmony of where you feel connected. But yeah.
You spoke about the 21st century, right now, the social media buzz, it's got so much buzz, and breathwork is one of the words. But do you think people understand breathwork properly, or it's just that, it's like, trend and I need to go for a session? What do you guys feel? Because you are in that realm, and you are facilitators, and you've got this wonderful experience, which I have experienced myself, the immersive one. Tell me more on where's the knowledge lack that people have?
I think people are skeptical. Like, a lot of people look at it and are like, breathwork, what's that? Like, it's kind of shoved to the side. And I think also now what we do with the floating beds, people are coming for the Instagram post, for the picture, for the relaxing experience, and they don't actually know what they're coming into. And then when they come in, it's like they come thinking that they're going to just come and float, they're going to relax, they're going to fall asleep, but they come with a transformational experience that they didn't even know they needed. And I think we've had that quite a lot between the both of us. Like, people afterwards are like, I've realised things from when, like, 40 years, I've only just realised this moment in my life is why my life's been the way it is, or relationships. Like, a lot of women especially have opened up to me about like abusive relationships, sexual trauma, like all this deep, deep stuff that I'm like, wow, if we can do that in one breathwork session, like we've changed that woman's life, because it's not even just when they come into the pool and they float with us and they breathe and then they go. Like, we make sure at Immersive especially, it's afterwards. We check in with them. We make sure they're okay. If they need any extra help afterwards, they'll reach out to one of us. So I think people still don't know what it is, really. They just think they're coming for a float. And now I've noticed in Dubai, everyone is now using immersive as the word, aren't they? And I'm like, but what's your immersive? Like, our immersive, why we built immersive and created it is because we wanted them to immerse into their own world, and that's exactly what they do. So I think it is a buzzword. It's an immersive breathwork experience, but I've been to so many as well, and I think, I mean, I'm not blowing our trumpet, but no one does it like we do. And we always say it's intention. It's from the heart. And like, we've both had our own journeys and experiences through breathwork that we can truly say that's why we're doing it, is because I wouldn't tell anybody that comes to an event to do anything that I haven't experienced. And that's why the releases, the shaking, the screaming, the crying, it doesn't scare me, because I've seen it all before and I've experienced it. I've embodied it. And I think that's why it's still just two of us, really, because we're skeptical of who to bring on board, because we want our facilitators to feel safe enough to be able to hold this space for people, because it's not just coming to float and fall asleep and relax. It is a real, like, transformative experience. So I think, that's us.
I think, like, it's the Trojan horse, like we said. It's people come for what they want, they leave with what they need. And breathwork itself isn't just the type of breathwork that we do. Like, what we do can be transformational. Like, we've had people that have at the end gone, I've spent tens of thousands on therapy and never have I experienced this bit. But for me, again, breath is the bridge between two different states, primal states and powerful states. What we're doing now is breathwork, because we're breathing. It's a specific type that we do with the floating beds. But the one thing people don't realize is the breath, when you do that kind of breath work, will take you where the mind can be too scared to go. And that's the thing. It almost dissolves that layer between the subconscious and yourself, and can bring things forward that you have been pushing down or afraid to face. Now, every single session is going to be different. Yeah. You could do the same session 20 times. You could have euphoric clarity. It could be nothing. It could be reliving something from the past. It could be anything. But these experiences, you only get out of it what you allow yourself to take. And it comes down to surrender. But then away from that, teaching people to come back to the breath in moments of stress and anxiety and fear. Because I also coach cold plungers, and I use that as a controlled stress experience. People, as soon as they jump in, it's fear, they tense, shoulders come up, everything. And when we look at life in stressful situations, that's exactly what we're doing. Things start to tense, breath shallows, heart rate rises, all these things. But when we slow down, we allow our body to relax in the moment and to start focusing on controlled breaths, we start to realize our state changes. So we have that power to change our state, but so many people this day and age, they go, oh, I'm just an anxious person. Oh, I'm an angry person. It's like, well, if you say that, you become that. You are what you say you are. So teaching people to use the breath in those moments to now not become that person is also a powerful part of breath work that I think that can be really missed.
You touched on a very beautiful topic, because I know the reason I'm a women's wellness coach and I work a lot with women, and women have this issue, right, in terms of holding on to a lot of things internally. I mean, men do more, I would say, but then women also, because I think it's if you showcase, it shows vulnerability, and you don't want to be vulnerable in general, and women want to be best at everything, right? We want we can't be number two in our lives at all.
Yeah.
But it puts a lot of stress in women, and especially the people I work with, the women I work with, are the midlife women, especially going through perimenopause, menopause transition, which is very stressful on the body anyways, and now you add on to the other stress that is surrounding us. It creates a lot of pressure. Anxiety becomes one of the biggest issues women face. Probably very confident women earlier, and then suddenly, your late 40s, you are like getting anxious about everything. How can breath work help women, especially these high achievers? Where can they get answers?
I think with breathwork, it's a full nervous system reset. So when you're going through the menopause, and even whether you're going through it or it's perimenopause, your body's changing. So your nervous system is like dysregulating, especially if you're anxious or you're stressed, it's going higher and higher and higher, which is causing the body to kind of go like discombobulated, if you know what I mean, like going into that fight or flight. And I think that's where a lot of women are living in when they're going through that phase, because it's uncertainty, it's fear of the future, they feel like they're failing, they can't accept that it's changing. So I think breathwork allows the body to just go into softness again, relax, reset, and also connect back to that feminine energy. Like I think with menopause and women going through the change, I've worked a lot with women as well in going through the change as well, and their biggest thing is they can't accept the change. But I'm always like, I'm saying to them, but come to acceptance of this new chapter, because think of what your body has done. It's had children, it's had breasts, it's done breastfeeding, it's had periods. Like obviously as a woman, it's hard to go through that every month anyway. So I think the biggest thing for women is accepting that their body is transforming, not exactly changing for the worst, because I think a lot of women are like living in fear of the future of, oh my God, I'm going to be like this forever. Their body's not adapting how it used to be. Like when you're a young woman and a girl back then, your body can just like adapt, can't it, very quickly. You can lose weight quickly, you can get over hangovers quickly. But as soon as you start going through the change, I feel like your body and your hormones hold on to a lot more stress, emotion. So I think breathwork is going to regulate the nervous system, and also you want your body to feel safe enough to process the emotion. Like whatever they're feeling, they still need to feel that. Like whether it is, grief or shame or guilt or whatever it is, their body still needs to feel and process that. So that's why, again, breathwork can come in and help surface that for them to feel and release that.
Okay. Is there any specific, of course they can come in for a session, but is there something that they can do, while sitting in office, while driving, that can actually calm them down?
Yeah, it's just, again, taking slow, controlled breaths. Like that's what I've been teaching a lot of my clients, is those moments where we're feeling dysregulated, is having that moment of presence and catching ourselves, and just that slow sort of breath. Yeah. It's allowing the body as you exhale to be able to relax and soften, because anxiety, when you just touched on that, anxiety is that fear of the future, and depression is the past. If we're constantly living in anxiety, we feel unsafe. So in those moments of unsafety, the safety will only come from us, but we have to regulate through the body first. Yeah. We can't think our way out of an anxiety moment. We have to surrender to that moment. So that's where having those moments of controlled breaths, allowing ourselves to breathe through the moment, and that's where it becomes somatic. Just allowing ourselves to just calm. Take a few breaths. Go as long as you need to. But as that moment where we start allowing that body to surrender and soften into the breath, we can get out of the mind into the body, and that's where we start to think with clarity. Because when we're here, everything feels jumbled, everything feels crazy, and we start living in that fear. But again, the way forward only comes through safety within ourselves.
Yeah, true. But I think, it's very easy said than done. Don't you
Yeah.
Of course,
think so?
100%.
Yeah, because I think sitting here and saying, oh yeah, concentrate, but then at the end of the day, there's 20,000 things running on your head. So does, breath work along with some meditation, like a sound therapy, help calm, put the noises off in the head?
Well, I actually did a post on this yesterday. It was talking about how when we're in this state, the amygdala starts firing, going crazy, and our prefrontal cortex has no time to respond. So as soon as we're in that state, our body is in a natural physiological response. So the only way we calm down is through using certain techniques. This is why breath work or meditation, they are great as tools to be able to bring ourselves to calm down. Sound frequencies are great for us to be able to calm down. But for long-term growth, it comes down to that safety within ourselves, rewiring the thoughts and the beliefs that we have about ourselves, about the future. That is the only way that we truly get the long-term help. Look, so many people go to yoga, they do breath work, they do meditation, they do journaling, and they are still reactive.
Yeah.
You're still reactive because you actually haven't done the work when the work is required. Like, again, you can turn up and you can do all these things, but they are only tools. They are not the things that are going to change you long-term. You implement those in the moments they are needed.
Okay. Talking about implement, how does your day look like? What does your wellness day look like in terms of how do you plan your breathwork sessions or your meditation sessions in your day-to-day life?
I mean, I'll be totally honest, at the minute, there's none of that for me. So I'm not going to sit there and say there is, because I think I'm in that, because obviously Immersive for us has grew so fast very quickly.
Yeah.
We didn't expect it. So there's been a lot going on. So for me, one of my biggest things, I say it every month, I'm going to give myself that time to regulate, meditate, journal, because I that's how I started doing this, all by doing it myself. So I think I need to do that again. Yeah. But one thing that I do always notice is, like, for example, like, luckily we've got each other, because I mean, for me personally, I've never found a breathwork coach that I can connect with like I have Ash. I've only found one that I've done my first ever course with, but I mean, that's how Immersive was born, really. We found each other. But when I know that my body is either feeling it or it's feeling dysregulated, so I'm getting reactive or I'm getting triggered, I'm like, I need to go and do a breathwork session with Ash. Like, for example, I done a retreat a couple of months ago and the energy was so heavy, like so sad, so dark from the clients. Yeah. And I had such anxiety. I don't really suffer with anxiety anyway, but I had such anxiety after it, like felt really heavy and like, like where you just like, oh, gee, I need to like shake this off. And I said to my boyfriend, like, I feel really, really heavy and I don't know what to do because my heart feels heavy. I feel like I'm going to burst out crying. And I was okay, but it was the energy that I'd absorbed and taken on, because all these people had opened up to me along the weekend, because obviously I was there as a facilitator. They felt safe enough, which was amazing, but it really did affect me. So then that night I had to go to Ash. I was like, Ash, I need you. I went to one of his sessions and I just cried and cried. From the minute, you didn't even start the session.
I didn't even start speaking. It was just that moment.
It's just tears. But I felt like a heaviness of the world then. It was a strange feeling, because I've not really had that moment before, but I felt like a real sadness for the world and for the society and today that we're living in. I felt so sad, and how can I help and heal everyone? But it was also a moment of, I can't do it on my own. And that's why I think, again, that's why we've come together. And I think it's so powerful that we've come together, because I genuinely couldn't do Immersive without Ash, really. And it works so well that we've got each other, because we can regulate from each other. We can call each other. We can say, this has happened, or I'm triggered. So I think for me at the minute, routine, I don't really have. I need to get that back. But I know that in myself, I've got the tools to go, okay, I need help, or I need to go and regulate. Like, I'm not just going to push it to the side, because I'm aware that the work that we are doing is very, very intense, emotional, heavy, amazing, powerful, but we do take that all on as well. So yeah.
But at least you get the cues, because now you know and your body's talking to you.
Yeah. My body's so reactive. Like, even I remember once we had a session on a Tuesday night and I was facilitating and I felt really frustrated, like really angry and really everything was getting to me. So I was like, right, I can't go tonight and do this session because I'm unsafe in my body. How am I going to make everybody else feel safe? So I went in the bedroom, I done a meditation, and my whole body was just pulsating. My arms were hitting there was so much anger and frustration coming out of my body because obviously I know how to do it. It felt amazing. Like I was loving it. I was in the moment, like, just come out of me. My whole belly was like shaking and pulsating. And then after it, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go and facilitate. But if I wouldn't have done that, I don't feel like I would have felt safe enough to go into that session and hold that space for that many people. So I think the powerful tool within us is that we know how to regulate. We get messages, we get signs, and it's just about, we've got to look after ourselves as well as looking after everybody else.
My morning, the second I get out of bed, I stretch, I breathe for 20 minutes, I meditate for 20 minutes, and then I'll usually go train. And then in the evening, I switch my phone off, I switch everything off for an hour before bed. I'll shower, I'll meditate, and I'll read. And I try to make sure I have that as my morning and evening set every single day. Obviously, it does change throughout depending on what things we have on, but I always make sure I prioritize that as much as I can. And I will always, once a month, I'll go see a friend. I've got other friends that do Reiki and other things, and I'll go see someone, or I'll do something very powerful as well, or I'll come to one of Mel's sessions. But yeah, I try to make sure I have my routine on as much as possible. And I look through the day in moments of stress. I think I had a bit yesterday, actually. I had to finish a work call that I was on. I was like, look, I just need to pause. I'm going to speak to you a bit later. Sat down, meditate for 20 minutes, come out the other side, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. But it's that. It's just using those moments, it's acknowledging those moments that you feel dysregulated, those moments that feel primal, and allowing yourself to slow down and go, okay, I just need to regulate. And as soon as you regulate, you realize the noise calms down and the clarity comes back.
Okay. I've realized that myself, when that when I get very stressed, I realized that when I was stressed was through my CGM, to my insulin really shot up, and I'm like wondering, I didn't even eat anything. How is my insulin so high? It was just the stress. And then now I consciously take an effort to do my 4-7-8 breath work, that I've realized it calms me down instantly.
Yeah.
So now, after my own burnout, I've realized that I've got to start listening to the triggers or the noises that my body's talking to me, and I kind of not want to put noise cancelling headphones on. But talking about, you spoke about the whole trauma bit when you've seen people, the belly shake, and I've seen that, on social media as well. Does that happen with everyone? Does everyone hold some trauma, or the trauma gets released? Does it take many sessions? How does that whole thing work?
Trauma, everyone's got trauma, whether it's little or big. Like I always say, a problem is a problem. You're validated to feel that, whatever it is. You can't say everybody is carrying trauma, because some people might not be. And I think it's just whether their body feels safe enough to allow it to happen that evening. And what it is, it's the suppressed emotion. So like, for example, I had a client once who had suffered with cancer. He had it in his chest and his belly, but he'd suppressed that whole journey of his life. He just pushed it away. I'm fine. I got over it and I'm fine. And he came into the room actually, and he was like proper big fella, and he was like, not doing it. And I was like, okay. I said, just give me a chance. I said, just come in. If you don't like it, you can get up and leave. Like, there's no problem if you need to leave. Just there's the door, go out quietly. He was like, I don't think it's for me. And he was getting all anxious, and because there was candles and it was very like soft and feminine. And he was like, I don't think it's for me. And I was like, stop panicking. I said, you're safe. Just allow your body to do what it needs to do. Anyway, he had the biggest breakthrough of that room. He was shaking, he was crying. But we use a lot of touch as well in our sessions. So I went over to him, and I didn't know at the time that he'd suffered with cancer. I didn't know who he was. So I was thinking he's just releasing. And then as I went closer, I felt his stomach and his chest was really, really like boom, like a heartbeat, like really, really shaking. So we obviously know then, okay, something's coming up. So then I talked to him. I talked to his subconscious, like, allow that to happen. Like, you're safe enough to feel this right now. Like, I always say, it's okay. You're in safe hands. And it allows their body to be like, okay, it's coming. And then he just cracked and he just broke through. He was crying. And at the end, he was still like shaking, because obviously it's a lot of energy that he's obviously suppressed, like probably a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of pain, a lot of sadness. Like, men are afraid to really admit that. And then at the end, he was just like, wow. He was like starstruck. And I was like, how was it? And he was like, honestly, the most unbelievable thing. And again, he said, I've had user therapy and that beats everything. And then he opened up, he said, it's crazy how you were on my stomach and my chest, because that's exactly where I had cancer. And I was like, even for me, every time we do it and like stories like that, I'm just like, wow, like this stuff is just so powerful. So, you know, you do get people like that who've come in with really heavy trauma, really heavy pain. But then there could be people that like are okay in their life, and that's more of like I said before, a euphoric, powerful, like proud of, like just so grateful and like I'm here. I think it brings a lot of people back home to like who they really are, because it's so easy to go around your life, fight or flight, wearing a mask, just being the person that everybody wants you to be. And I think our space that we hold is a place where people can just come and be like, okay, this is me. This is how I feel. Whatever moment, wherever they are in their life, that's usually, I feel, what comes out. So trauma, yeah, I think lives in the body, but it doesn't always have to be traumatic. And that's another thing we say. It doesn't always have to be sad. Like a lot of my friends are like, I don't want to cry. I'm like, it's not always sad though. It can be really powerful. It can be really happy. And like, you remember who you are. I had that moment when I went to Ash's session for the first time. That's how we came together. And I had a message actually to create Immersive. So like that for me was life changing. Otherwise, if I didn't go to that event that night, would we be here?
No, probably not.
So
also, you need to look at the animal kingdom. If a gazelle runs away from a lion and it gets away from the lion, it will sit down and it will shake at the end. This is what animals do, because you never see it. Like the animals in the wild, that's how they release the trauma and the fear out of that. They don't carry anything. And this is what happens with us, is we store everything in the body. It's almost like a spring. The more that you push down, the more that you avoid, it goes boom, 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 boom. Over the time, as soon as you start getting older, this is where the disease and this is where everything starts coming out, because that energy has to go somewhere. It has to go through the body. And this is what people don't realize. One of the leading causes of death is stress. Everyone is just pushed down. So this is what this is. This is stress release. This is allowing yourself to start to feel safe in your body. At the end of the day, it comes down to safety and a regulated nervous system. As soon as we start to regulate and we start to release the things that we've been pushing down, the better things start to feel and to be.
Yeah. You said you facilitate ice baths as well.
Yes.
Yeah. There's always this controversial story that women should not do ice bath because it, increases your stress level. What's your take on that?
No. You can still do cold plunges. I've had pregnant women jump in and do cold plunges, only for a minute, but still, they still jump in and do it. No. Yes, it's fun. There was, I can't remember the study. It was Laura Hoff, so Wim Hof's daughter.
Yeah.
She put up a post about this a few months ago, and it was talking about all of the studies that were done. And again, a lot of these were short-term studies, but everything that she was talking about was it's okay for women to be doing cold plunges. So I can't remember the science behind what she shared, but yes, it's okay to be doing it. Again, cold plunges are incredible, and it's resilience. It shows you that you can literally do anything when you can control your breath and you can control your nervous system. It's powerful.
I think the only thing with because I've loads of women have said to me, can you do it? I think, yes, if you've got a coach. Like if you've got a woman who's like so dysregulated, so anxious, so scared, so like her hormones and emotions are all over the place, and she just gets in an ice bath without any kind of safety or facilitation, then she's just going to spiral out of control. So I think, yes, it's safe for women if there is a coach, because coaches can help you, can like coach you through the ice bath. So I think that's the only reason why now there's got this whole thing that women can't, because I've heard it myself that women can't do it. But I think, yes, if you've got a coach and if you do feel safe enough to put your body in that, then yeah.
It's also fear. So I have a lot of people that will have breakthroughs in the cold. They'll jump in there, and as soon as they go, I want to get out. I'm like, surrender, breathe with me. The second they do that, they start breathing, the tears start coming, and that's where the fear starts coming. That's where everything they've been suppressing starts rising out. Because again, pain within the body comes down to the things that we've been pushing down. So you can have someone jump in a cold plunge and they feel absolutely nothing. It feels great. But someone else who has been suppressing, living in anxiety, living in fear, the second they jump in a cold plunge, that starts triggering a lot of anxiety and they want to run. This is the point. There's a analogy of thinking of anxiety as a storm, as a cloud. You can run from the storm, but it's just going to keep chasing you. As soon as you stop, get yourself wet, the storm passes. The more we stand and we get wet, the less the anxiety has control over us. The more we stand and face our fears, the more we learn to breathe and regulate through these things, the less hold they have over us. The thing is, the beauty is on the other side of uncomfortability. People are afraid of getting uncomfortable. And the second they go, okay, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to breathe through this, I'm going to go through this, I can get it. Every time I face this, I've always come out the other side and I'm okay. But because they've run from it, they've made the experience horrible. And it gets worse and worse and worse every time because they continue to run. Stop running from the storm. Allow yourself to get wet. And it loses the hold over you over time.
Very well said. Because I work on the health realm where I tell people to live healthier, which involves everything, right? From breath work to eating well, to moving as well. But it's always difficult, right? Till the time something doesn't go wrong, nobody wants to take that precaution before, right? We want the blood reports to actually say this is in red line, and then you're like, oh, what do I do? And again, we as human beings want the easiest solution, which is to go and get a pill, pop the pill, and then, be okay with it. We're not really treating the root causes. Whereas where I feel like where breathwork also comes in is where it's treating the root cause. It's helping you understand your body much better. You guys, how do you help create this awareness of the importance of understanding the root cause and working with your body, and not just a short-term, antidepressant pill that you would get in the market?
Safety, allowing people to release from safety. Most people, they're afraid of what's there. And a lot of breath work is focused around just cathartic releases. If we teach people that it's okay to release from safety by allowing yourself to go where you are ready to go, that is where I feel the change is. I'm a big believer that a lot of the problems that we face in our life are caused from a dysregulated nervous system. A lot of the problems. It comes from that stress, it comes from that worry, it comes from the overwhelm, it comes from everything that's creating fear within the body. The more we start to live in that place of safety, the healthier life that we live. Because again, we're not running from things, we're not suppressing things, we start to live in alignment with who we are. We're energetic beings. Yeah. A lot of these things are stuck energy that we're facing. And again, when we're living out of alignment, again, that's where we're going to face those stuck things. So the more we come into a place of safety and we start living from that alignment, the thing is, but that's my opinion.
No, I agree. I think embodiment as well, like people have got to embody it, to feel it, to be like, oh my God, this makes sense. Because like a lot of my clients, like we talk about therapy, you talk and you can still control the narrative of therapy. Like you can still say what you want the person to hear rather than what you actually feel. So what I do is I coach my clients to the body. So I don't actually get them to say anything at first. I get them to feel everything. So I'll say, close your eyes. I'll coach them through a practice where it's actually getting them to feel where the energy's stuck. And every time it works. Every time someone will go, it's in my stomach, it's in my chest. And I'm like, okay, let's speak to that part. What are you feeling right now? Anxiety. Go deeper than that. What's under that? Sadness. What's under that? Abandonment. And then we get to the root cause of why they have been stuck their whole life. And most of the time, it comes from childhood. And I think you can't tell somebody about their childhood, or they can't really tell you. They've got to really feel it and be like, that makes sense. That is where it is. That's what's been causing this self-worth, anxiety, depression, whatever it is. And most people are living, obviously we work with the chakras as well. So root chakra is at the very bottom, and that is linked to safety and fear. Everybody's living in fear. Most 9 times out of 10 people are living in fear. So when they actually feel that fear physically, it's a feeling. That's when they believe you. And I think that's how I've got through to so many people, is because, again, people look at us, and especially me, I'm just a young girl. Ash looks more like a guru than me. So I think Ash is way more believable, but especially me, I think people look at me like, how are you going to help? How are you going to heal? Like, tell me, like, you're not experienced, you're not old enough. And I've had it before, like, and obviously I used to be a professional dancer, like in the performance world. So my journey as well, it was just a bit, I've had it before. People are like, well, you're just a girl that's life's perfect, basically. I'm like, you don't even know the half of it. Yeah. So I think for me, it's been more about me like being silent and letting them feel it. And as soon as they embody the feeling, they're like, tell me more, give me more. I want to be with you all the time, because they can physically feel that pain. And every single feeling comes up as a feeling. Like, you know, when people say gut feelings, or there's a knot in my stomach, or my throat's closing over, or my heartbeat, it's all an emotion speaking to you, to be seen, to be felt, to be acknowledged. So I think definitely safety, but also embodiment. Like, I think people need to feel it for themselves, for them to believe what's actually going on. And once they feel it, then it's a process then, and then that's where they start opening up, and then eventually they'll live in true alignment with themselves, because they can start to understand every single block that's living in the center. And the center of our body is what makes us live, basically. And a lot of people are living with blocked chakras, blocked energy systems. So like all this pent up emotion is stuck. That's why they're living like tense, in fight or flight, anxious, like skin's bad. Like, the embodiment can honestly change everything. Like, I've got a friend at the minute, she's going through a very, very stressful time, and I can see it playing out. And she said to me on Saturday, the doctor said I've got diabetes. And I was like, it's not diabetes. I said, well, it could be. I'm not a doctor, but like, why don't we talk about what's actually going on? The emotional body. Why don't we understand? Like, I know she's going through a lot with her family back at home. Her stepdad just passed away. Her boyfriend's abusive. And I'm like, that is the sign. Your central nervous system is just completely dysregulated. Your hormones, everything is all over the place. Why don't you come to me and we'll talk about everything first? Like, talk about it emotionally, get you to feel it, rather than just going to the doctors and getting a pill or a diagnosis. And I think that is the biggest issue in our society, is that people just go to the doctors, and the doctor just gives them a tablet, and the tablet just suppresses it, and then they still feel everything. And when they come off the tablet, what do we do then?
Correct. You spoke about, give me more when they come to one session. How many sessions do you recommend people to do? Or is there a protocol that they follow post the session with you guys?
Look, the work is always happening. Like, there's no set time. It's more when you feel called to come to a session. Because I've had people that will come every day for a month, then they won't come for 2 months. I've had people come twice a month, then never again. Like, it comes down to you listening to you. At the end of the day, breathwork is a tool. It comes down to you to do the work away from the breathwork sessions. People come and go, oh my God, that was life-changing. I'm like, that's great, but it only changes your life if you choose to change your life. If you go back to living the same patterns and the same habits, it was just an experience. It wasn't a life-changing experience. And that's the thing. People are coming to these things after a quick fix. Nothing is a quick fix.
Yep.
And nothing worth having comes quickly. I've learned that from proper true experience.
Yeah.
So it's like, it requires people to come and do the work. Implement this breath work as a tool. Go journal afterwards. Do meditation. Go to yoga. Find practices that work for you. Breath work is amazing, but it's not the be all end all. Like, it's always happening, and it is a constant process. So look, I'd say if people enjoy it, come once a month. And know that whatever release you have, sometimes you'll come and you'll be crying, going, I have no idea why I'm crying. Cool. Don't analyze it. Your body is just releasing what it needs to release. Like, there is always something there. And again, you're not going to cry every time. You're not going to shake every time. Sometimes you're going to sit there with tears of joy because you've just remembered one of the most beautiful things in the world. You've remembered everything you've achieved in life and where you're going. You have complete clarity. Like, it's not always, like we said earlier, it's not always going to be sadness. Like, there's power behind what we do.
Fantastic. We had some very intense conversation. We're moving on to some fun element, yeah? It's a rapid fire segment. I call it hot seat, cold truths. Okay. So whatever answers, quick rapid fire, whatever comes to your head.
Okay.
Cold plunge or red wine after a stressful day?
Cold plunge.
Red wine.
One wellness trend you secretly think is nonsense?
I want to say sound healing, but only because I've not experienced an amazing one yet. So yeah, my experience of sound healing has not been, I've every time I've went and I've expected to be like blown off my seat, but I've never ever really had that. So I would say sound healing, but I know there is amazing benefits.
I can't, because I think everything has its own benefit in some sort of way.
Okay.
So I've actually got nothing.
Nothing?
Ash, you don't be dirty there.
No, this thing. So I've had really good sound healing journeys, but the sound healing journey I've had is when it's a solo session.
Yeah.
And like they've had the bowls literally sitting on my chakras. And there's one lady here in Dubai. She's a Thai lady, Juri. She's amazing. And every single time I've done that, she's put a bowl straight on me. She's going ding. And I'm like, for like an hour, I come out of it and I was like, whoa. But that, again, that's a one-on-one session.
Yeah.
Sound healing as a group session I think is a bit more difficult because the sound is like, if you're at the back, you're not going to have the same experience as the person at the front. So I, in that sense, I agree with you there. But a one-on-one sound healing session, amazing.
Yeah.
Breathwork with 50 strangers or a silent dinner with your in-laws.
50 strangers.
50 strangers.
I love my family. I don't have in-laws at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I realize that.
I love my in-laws, but I think I love meeting new people and I love doing breathwork. So I'll choose breathwork with 50 strangers any day.
Yeah.
Okay. If hormones could text us, what would they say?
Help me.
Regulate.
Regulate me. Okay.
Regulate me.
Okay. Does midlife make women softer or more dangerous?
Okay, I've got a bit of two sides. I think every woman thinks it makes them more angry and moody, and it's like their heads thinking that, but I actually think deep down softer because they want more loving, they want to be seen, they want to be accepted. So I think there's the head that's saying this is the menopause, this is what we have to be like, we're angry, we're moody, we're emotional. But I actually think all women want in that. I'm only speaking from what I've heard because I haven't experienced it yet, but I think softer because women just want more love, more acceptance, and to be seen more.
I think perspective. Okay. I think when it comes down to perspective is you have that choice. You can have two women going through the same experience. One looks at it as a blessing, the other one looks at it as a curse. Either way, it's the same experience. It's just a perspective that you have on the situation.
You can keep only one of these, a coffee, a phone, or your morning routine. What would you choose?
Morning routine.
Yeah, I would say morning routine, even though I'm not in it now, but I'd definitely say morning routine.
Yeah. The most dramatic thing your nervous system has ever made you believe?
That wasn't good enough.
Yeah, probably the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to regulate one person in your life for a week, who would it be?
My nan.
My dad.
Finish this. Midlife women are not fragile. They are?
Strong.
Powerful.
Very good. Most overrated self-care practice?
Breathing. No, overrated. I thought you said underrated.
Yeah.
I thought you said underrated. I was like, a spa treatment.
Yeah, we'll probably go into the spa. Like, does it actually do anything? Like on the surface, it's like, oh, I'm going to the spa, but there's just a surface level relaxation.
I had this conversation last night. It was just like, someone says self-care. Like, what is self-care to you? And most people go, oh, get my nails done, go to the spa, do all this. And I'm like, that's external self-care. How are you actually caring for you?
Yeah. I mean, that does make you feel good.
It does, but it's like, again, it makes you feel good for the short term. But again, the self-care is the long term. How are you loving you?
Yeah.
This is this conversation I was having last night. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for your answers. This kind of brings me to the last segment of my podcast. It's called the 1%. 99% of my podcast is all about women wellness. We speak a lot about women, but men are a part of our lives too. So this 1% is dedicated to them. So what is your 1% advice to the men in our lives? What can men do better to support women?
Men can learn to feel their emotions without judgment. As soon as we learn to feel the emotions without judgment, we allow ourselves to soften, which allows us to have the different perspective on our partners and women. Because we're always looking for as a place of an attack, because we may have had a terrible relationship with our mothers or our fathers or whatever it may have been, we can look at it as an attack. So we push our emotions down and we choose not to look at our partner for who she actually is and what she's actually going through. It's more because I say this from my own previous experience, because I'm divorced, is where I was in that state is I was living from a place of fear. And as I was living from a place of fear, is she wasn't being seen for the things that she was going through. And don't get me wrong, it takes two people to make a marriage fail. But the more men can learn to soften into our own emotions and learn to feel with ourselves, the more we become open to understanding the women in our lives.
Yeah, I think obviously my boyfriend, since he met me, has gone through his own transformational journey. And I think the biggest change in us is He's so open now. He's so much softer. He is not afraid to cry. He's not afraid to tell me honestly what's going on. And that makes me become closer to him. When he shuts down and shuts away from me, it makes me go distant, and it makes me question, what women are like. I'm like, does he still love me? Is he bored? Is he interested? Is he cheating? And I think we actually had this conversation this week. I was like, when you shut away from me, I feel like you're because I've been cheated on before. I feel like that's a trigger. I was like, you're going to message someone else. You're looking at another woman thinking she's amazing and I'm not. So I think be open, be soft. Also, don't be afraid to cry. Like, I think a lot of men are afraid to cry. And I think one big factor is men feel they always have to provide, which puts a lot of stress and pressure on the man. Especially like me and Josh have had this conversation. Like, it's okay. Women and men are the same. Like, if the woman's doing more successful than the man, that's okay too. Like, have the conversation. Like, I can help you out. And I think that's the biggest depression in men, is they're so financially like pressure, and they feel like they've got to provide, they've got to do this for the woman, they've got to be the man, they've got to be strong. And I think women and men are the same in so many ways as well. We're all human. So I think be open, be honest, open your arms, be vulnerable. And that allows a woman to come in, because ultimately all women want is to feel safe, isn't it? Like, we want to feel safe enough to be open enough.
Fantastic. Any parting advice for our listeners?
Take 5 minutes a day, as many times as you need in the day, to start acknowledging your breath and start connecting to yourself. The more you start connecting to your breath and taking those moments of really starting to slow down, your nervous system will start to regulate over time, because you'll have those moments where you start implementing those in the moments that you need to regulate. It's like, stressed. Okay, come back and breathe.
Okay. And where can our listeners connect with you?
Immersive.
Yeah.
On our Instagram is where we obviously post everything.
Yeah.
We are at Atlantis, we are at La Cantine Beach, and we're at Bay Health Club doing our live breathwork events.
Twice a month. In each location. And we have our private ones as well. Mine's consciously_Ash.
Oh, mine's Melissa__McAllister.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It was wonderful chatting with you guys. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with women who needs better sleep, calmer mornings, and a nervous system that actually feels safe again. Breath is free, but learning how to use it intentionally can change everything. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the Gayu Lewis Podcast for real conversations about perimenopause, menopause, women's health, and what is truly happening behind our hormones. And if you found value here, take a second to share it. The more we talk about this, the more empowered women are. I'm Gayu Lewis, and this is the Gayu Lewis Podcast. And until next time, menopause, why pause? Let's play.